Hello everybody and welcome to Magneteco Lab, the technical side of the Magneteco ecosystem. In this channel, you'll find that we clean up, repair, and mod both physical media and hardware. And for this particular video, we're going to be cleaning this yellowing and dirty Nintendo Entertainment System. Now we're going to talk about this system as we work through it, but I just wanted to let you guys know ahead of time that this system is not only yellowing and dirty, but it also doesn't read cartridges. So for this particular video, we're going to call it cleanup and repair. Let's begin. So this is the NES that we're going to be working on. This is the same one that we did an unboxing for on Patreon. For those of you that weren't able to watch it, quick rundown. Very yellowed on the front. The sides seems to be okay. So most of the yellowing is on the front and on the top, and very dirty system as well. So let's go ahead and flip this over and begin. Oh, the other thing too, the eBay listing where I bought this from also stated that it does have the blinking light issue, and we were able to confirm that. So this is not a working system, so it needs to clean and it does need a repair. Now, unfortunately, if you have an iFixit kit or a kit that has kind of like a thick base, it won't fit because these screws on the NES are pretty deep in there. So you can't go wrong with a Phillips screwdriver that has a pretty long skinny neck like this. This one should be good. So there are going to be 6 screws that we need to take off. So let's begin. Now those screws on the system are pretty stubborn. It's either from rust or just being stuck and kind of like melding into the plastic, but it doesn't look like they're rusty, so that was kind of strange. Let me see if I'm able to lift this and get rid of all the screws. Okay, so we have 2, 4, 5. There's still one in there that's being stubborn. Oh my goodness, look at that. Holy cow. There it is. So 6 screws out. Now, you guys didn't see this during the unscrewing here, but what I ended up doing, if you guys notice these pillars here, they're a little bit wet. They were super stubborn. All these screws were just incredibly hard to turn. So what I ended up doing was that I put a little bit of Goo Gone on a Q-tip, and I just, put it in there a little bit, let it soak through. After a few minutes, those screws came right off. So something I recommend doing. It definitely worked. It looks like none of the pillars broke, so that's good. So I'm looking at the system right now. It looks like this has been opened before. So somebody has messed with this system before. As you can see, these screws here are on the outside of the metal. Typically they'll be, or they're on the inside of the metal, I'm sorry. Typically they'll be over the metal. This right here, very concerning. I don't think I've ever seen one this rusted before, so this might be a bit of a challenge to clean up in the restoration video. But for this particular video, let's just go ahead and take the rest of these screws, and if they're stubborn, we'll add some more Goo Gone just to kind of facilitate removing those. But for now, let's go ahead and take off these screws. They're variants of this too, so let's see how many screws this has. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Sometimes there's 8, sometimes there's 7, so this is a 7 screw variant. It looks like whoever put this back together kind of mixed up some of the screws. This silver screw usually goes to the cartridge reader. So we're going to put this separately. Oof. Yep, definitely needs a cleaning here. Sorry, I'm just kind of investigating as I'm looking. And it looks like they're missing a screw there. So yeah, they do have 2 silver ones, so that's good. We'll make this work. So basically the 2 silver ones have to go here. Alright, so let's just take off the rest of these screws. Okay, so I see what they did. They attached the bottom shielding to the plastic as they were building it up. Okay, I see. Let's go ahead and take these off. So all in all, from what I'm seeing, it looks like we're just missing 1 screw total so far, and that was one of the ones that went here. So I'll have to find out if I can find another screw laying around somewhere. Right now, let's just focus on unscrewing the rest of the system here. So now we're going to unscrew the ones for the RF modulator power area. And that was really stubborn. Okay, let's get our little screwdriver here. Perfect. Alright, great. So now we can go ahead and lift the motherboard and pull out the cartridge reader, which actually really good shape. This is actually in very, very good condition. And now we can take a proper look at the rest of this here. Oh my goodness. So the shell itself is not super dirty, like it's really clean, but it's this and obviously like the leftover flux from the factory. I mean, you're always going to get that no matter what. But I don't believe this system has been unsoldered before or had this replaced, but it definitely has been opened before, maybe for a cleanup or maybe just to try to attempt to fix it. So for now, let's worry about just disassembling the rest of this. This is player 1. We're going to unscrew that, or not unscrew that, unplug it. This is for player 2. And then this is for the power area. Unfortunately, you can't take off the shield yet, the bottom shielding, until you remove these. Now I don't want to pull too hard on this guy because I don't think it's ever been removed, so just wiggle it out like this. Oh my goodness, look at all this. But now we can go ahead and take off this metal shielding and we can take a look at the goodies here, the good stuff. Okay, so it looks like we definitely have some hair, some dirt. I don't know if this has been outside for a long time. Wow. So my conclusion looking at this is that it has been probably outside, maybe in a garage somewhere where this was able to rust. I'm thinking outside, maybe like an outside barn type area, just because of all the dirt, and it just looks like you know, my girlfriend, she grew up in a farm, and I've seen stuff like this that builds up over electronics that have just been, you know, sitting around not doing much. But this is so freaking cool. I mean, other than that, other than this guy right here, the main rust right here, this is in pretty good shape, I would say. I don't think this is anything we can't handle. So let's go ahead and remove the 72 pin connector just to kind of take a look. Ooh. We'll look at that here in a second. I just want to check the pins here. Definitely need a cleaning, but nothing egregious here. So it looks like a nice clean will take care of these. All the capacitors that we normally would replace look good. Even this one looks good. Sorry, even this one looks good. But we'll have to replace it either way. But yeah, I mean, other than that, this is a good looking board. I'm not mad about it. Let me take a quick look at the 72 pin connector. This is where a lot of the cartridge reading issues come from. And this looks like it's actually in really good shape as well. I don't see, oh, there we go. I don't see any pins that are out of place other than maybe that one. That should be a pretty quick fix. So I don't see any actual issues other than maybe that guy right there. Everything else perfectly aligned. So because everything is perfectly aligned, you can immediately spot the one that's kind of causing some issues. So we'll try to bend it back into place later. But yeah, this looks decent. Just to finish up with this assembly here, I'm going to go ahead and take care of these screws here. And there are variants of these NESs. One of them has regular screws all the way around except for those silver ones I showed you. And they also have the longer version for the power and reset button. I like the versions that have the shorter screws like this. So luckily we were able to get one. The reason why I like the shorter ones better is because if you use the long ones, sometimes they're really hard to screw back in there. And I'm scared of breaking the pillar there. Okay, it looks like we have lots of dirt. So definitely been sitting somewhere for a while. Let's remove this. A little bit of dirt. And we're going to remove these two screws here. And by doing that, we're able to remove this piece of plastic. And also player 2 and player 1. So let's go ahead and remove those. The last piece for the bottom shell is going to be the power reset button. There we go. Look at all that flux from the factory there. Oh yeah, we're going to clean all that up. But for now, let's go ahead and remove these. Making sure the buttons work. So with this done here, we can go ahead and move this out of the way. And we can start focusing on the top shell here. Let me go ahead and flip this over. So this guy, 2 screws, 4, 6. And for this one, they're no longer Phillips. There's like a very tiny screw that you can see there. Let me see if I can zoom in slightly just so we can get a better look at it. But I use a flathead. I think that's a specialized kind of screw, honestly, because it has that hole in the middle. But for this, I use a flathead. So this does have slight rust to it there. So we'll have to keep that in mind. Oh, okay. Well, I got it out of there. That's the part that is important. This one doesn't have any. Nope, it does at the bottom a little bit. So yeah, both of these have a little bit of rust. But now that we took off all these screws there, I'm going to hang or grab this black piece and just flip this whole thing over like so. Let me move these screwdrivers out of the way. But it looks like this is bent. Look at that. I wonder how that happened. Yeah, this has been bent for a long time though. Interesting. Okay. But now that we removed this plastic piece here, the black one that was sitting here, surprisingly, typically this will show you the color of what the rest of this should look. It looks like this was yellowed as well. I don't know how that works. Because this is the yellowed front. This is what the system should look like. I guess it's similar in color. Yeah. Yeah. We got the yellow, and we got what it should look like right there. That's crazy how much this yellowed. So this would be a really fun project to work on. I'm really excited about it. So let's move all this plastic out of the way here. Now that our NES has been disassembled, I'm going to take all the plastic parts and put them inside a container. I like to do this just so I know which ones I am going to wash. So now that we have these all separated, ready to go, we can go ahead and go to our bath. For the bath, I am going to use one of these brushes, one of these handheld ones. Also one of these so I can get into like those really tight spaces. And then these are awesome, especially this skinny one here to get inside the screw holes and clean those off. So these are typically the three that I use the most. So let's go ahead and get that bath in here. And here is my bath with some warm water. Actually, it's more hot than it is warm, but just to get rid of all the grime that's been collecting on the system. Do it at your tolerance. Don't go super hot or anything like that. But before we get started, I do want to grab some of this Dawn Ultra Grease, the one with the ducky on it, and I'm going to go ahead and just start pouring it into our bath here. This is really good at removing dirt and grime. The next thing I'll do is I'll grab like a whiskey glass or something that's useful. You can use a cup. I mean, it doesn't matter. And then add a little bit of extra soap in here. And then just kind of whisk it with your brush. And this will be kind of our dip and brush kind of thing. Okay, cool. So all this ducky soap that's in here, I'm just gonna mix it with the hot water here. So now we have a nice bath here with soap. And as soon as we put the stuff in here, all this soap should be able to dissolve most of the grime. So now I'm going to start putting the components in here. And just to be clear, you don't have to do it in a bath like this. You can do this in the sink and fill up the sink with water and just add a plug so it doesn't keep draining. You can do this in the bath and do the same thing. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this sit for, I would say, about 5 minutes. And then once the 5 minutes are up, we can go ahead and start scrubbing. After 5 minutes, I'm going to start with the smaller components first. And I'm going to go ahead and dip my brush in the soapy water. And you should immediately see some suds building up here. And I like this one. I love this handheld one. Now that we're done with the small pieces, I'm going to start getting into these larger ones here. And before we start doing scrubbing, I'm going to go ahead and take this very small brush here. That's part of this collection of mini brushes here, and slide it in here. And once those are done, we can go ahead and start scrubbing the rest of the top now. we're going to do the same thing with this guy here with these small posts. Just make sure we get all that plastic out of there, maybe some rust hopefully. What is this? Looks like a piece of electrical tape. Maybe something that went into the wires for one of the controller ports? Maybe. Didn't notice this before, but it looks like there's a chip here, unfortunately. Luckily the top shell will cover that, but yeah, it's pretty unfortunate. It looks like there's also some kind of, like, melting? Let me see if I can get a better view of this. Yeah, I don't know what happened here. Definitely a chip there, something else happened here. Now that we cleaned all the plastic pieces, we can go ahead and let these dry up. What I like to do is lay down a towel of sorts and just let all the plastic pieces rest on it for at least 24 to 48 hours. Now, if you guys want to wash these just to make them cleaner, you absolutely can. The only thing I do recommend if you're going to go that route is that you scrub them really well. Number two is you add some rust inhibitor when you're done. So once they're dried up, I would recommend using this WD-40 corrosion inhibitor, I should say, and it's definitely long lasting, just to kind of prevent any rust from building into this, because, you know, water and metal don't mix very well. So my only recommendation, I will be doing that for this particular video, so let's go ahead and hop in, drop this guy in there. Before I get to the electronic components, I do want to clean this guy here and also this guy. So let's start with this. Nothing crazy going on here. Again, this is in really good condition, so I'm probably just going to get the dust out of here using a brush. Now the dust is definitely caked on more on this side, so yeah, we'll probably have to switch over to a toothbrush and some isopropyl alcohol to clean some of this. So with a little bit of cleaning, this one looks pretty good to go. Very nice. Next up is this guy, and I'm gonna try to see if I can fix that pin that is bent, slightly bent, right there. It's a little better, but still needs a little bit of work. We'll give it a shot like this though. So this should be pretty clean. So now we can move on to the motherboard. Let me zoom in a little bit here. So here is the big one here. Definitely has a lot of dust. Definitely has a lot of rust. I don't think we're going to be fixing any of this rust for this particular video, but it's definitely going to be a focus for sure in a future video, maybe the restoration Patreon video. But we do see a lot of dust, so what I'm going to do, instead of just going straight in with the toothbrush and isopropyl alcohol, I would recommend first removing as much dust as possible, because what would happen is if you just took a brush with isopropyl alcohol, you're generally just wiping that same dust all over the board, and there are times where you'll get like this white residue that builds up. That's because you didn't clean all the dust, essentially. So dust first, and then we can start cleaning with the isopropyl alcohol. So what I like to do is take just a dry brush like this, paintbrush is fine, and I'll just tilt this like this a little bit. As you can see, just by tilting it, it looks like it got rid of some dust bunnies right there, right off the bat. So this is what I like to do, just to get rid of as much dust as possible before we start doing the actual cleaning. I'm going to switch to my smaller brush just to get into these hard to reach spots. Okay, so it looks like the brush has caught a bunch of dust, and man, I cannot explain how much there is on this blue mat right now. So let's go ahead and wipe off this mat. Here you go. And now the real work can begin. So I typically like starting with this side just because it has the most flux from the factory here. I will try to add a little bit of rust remover on this just to see if I'm able to clean this corner off. Again, that's going to be most likely a focus in a different video. But for now, we're going to take some isopropyl alcohol, a toothbrush or a brush. So either one of these here would work. This is definitely just to kind of get some of the stuff off. This is when you really got to go hard on something. So I'll start with this guy here. And typically you'll find a bunch of leftover flux from the factory here, definitely here. Maybe a little bit here, but then this part right here, if you notice how it's a little bit darker, almost wet, this is always filled with just leftover gunk. I assume it's just flux from the factory. So we're going to clean all that up and all this up here. Don't be afraid with the isopropyl alcohol. I use 99%. If you need to see the bottle that I'm using for this, this is the one. I also have another pack that I bought. So this is 99.9%. So it's up to you. As long as it's a high grade, you should be fine. It dries really quickly. It doesn't harm electronics. It's widely used to clean all kinds of electronics. So let me go ahead and zoom out just a bit here, and we can get started. If you need a quick dry, just because you need to see kind of where your work is at, you can use one of these microfiber cloths. Just use the dry one. And there you go. So we'll let that dry just a little bit longer here. Again, it should dry pretty quickly, but already right off the bat, we can see some improvement with some of that factory flux that was there. Should be pretty much removed. Now that this is pretty much completely dry, we can see that just off that one scrub, we were able to remove all the gunk I was talking about here. We were able to remove all, if not most, of the gunk on this side here. So this bottom side, pretty clean, super easy. Again, don't be afraid to use a bunch of isopropyl alcohol to get your cleaning done. So let's focus on the other side now. We're just helping that dry a lot quicker. So the next area I'm going to focus on is I'm going to remove this metal shielding. There you go. Not in terrible shape. Oops, sorry. Definitely some rust there that we can remove. But other than that, pretty good shape on this side, as opposed to its counterpart, unfortunately. And oh my goodness, look at all this flux from the factory. Holy cow. Alright. For this guy, I am going to use this, just because these pieces are a lot bigger. Yeah, it's even sticky from the residue. So, let me put some on the brush. Put some here. And start scrubbing. What I'm looking for is to ensure that all the gunk was removed. It looks like there's a little bit left here, but most of it came off pretty easily, so I don't need to blast it with isopropyl alcohol. I'm just gonna use some on this brush and then just try to take care of these areas that are being a little bit stubborn. Alright, so that looks pretty good. I like it. So now we can go ahead and focus on doing some cleaning. Let me go ahead and zoom out here. Some cleaning all the way around. So yeah, definitely very rusty. My goodness. So I'm going to use this rust dissolver, and I'm going to be very careful with the way I spray this. It's a gel. Oh, there we go. And I'm just going to lightly spread this around in the corner like we talked about. Oh, there's already some coming off. But yeah, we're just going to let it sit here for a second. Alright, so with the shop towel, I don't have sandpaper on me right now. And again, this is just for experimentation purposes. But I'm trying to see if anything will come off at this point. And it looks like it will. So this will definitely need some restoring in a future video for sure. Now that the motherboard is clean, we can go ahead and start putting some pieces back together, like so. Oh, looks like I missed something here. Looks like this is just needing a quick clean. This is the heatsink. Oh yeah, look how shiny that is now that we cleaned it. That was a quick clean. Let's make sure we get the other sides. Perfect. So this is really, really clean. I like it. I'm going to take a Q-tip and soak it in isopropyl alcohol and then start cleaning. With that done, we can say the motherboard is done, so we can go ahead and start testing it. Looks pretty clean, looks pretty good, other than that of course, but otherwise this is a very, very good looking motherboard. We're going to work on controller ports 1 and 2. The shorter one is controller 1, and now I know where that tape came from. It came from here. So we'll definitely have to add some new tape to that. Looks like this one's good. Just a quick electrical tape, I believe it's all it is. But we definitely need to get these cleaned. There's definitely some dirt going on in there. Not too terrible though. And same with this one. Isopropyl alcohol, as always. Now this toothbrush won't be able to get to everything, but we'll get there here in just a second. I just want to make sure I get this guy nice and clean. So we'll add the tape once we're done with this guy here. But for now, let's go ahead and grab a different kind of brush to help us out. It's going to be something like this. And this should be able to hop in there. Oh yeah, for sure. Let's go ahead and add some isopropyl alcohol. And there you go. Perfect. And it is able to reach all the way to the back because I can feel it touching the back basically. And if you want to get some of these pins, you can definitely do that as well. Okay, that looks good. All right, these should be done. This is the next piece we're going to work on. This is for the power and reset button module here. And it looks like we're not losing any tape. It looks like it has all the appropriate tape here. So definitely worth the clean to get rid of this gunk. From what we tested, it does look like the reset button and the power button click nicely, so no issues there. So that looks pretty good. I will take it. Got rid of all the gunk, cleaned all the crevices, wires clean. So this completes all the components that we have to clean up for this system. The only thing we have to do is repair this guy. And that's assuming that this is the one causing the blinking light issue. So what we're going to do is we're going to boil it for about 5 minutes and see if that'll repair the system. We can put everything back together just to test it out. So when I say we're going to boil the 72 pin connector, I literally mean we're going to boil it. So this is just water, plain, and it's about to hit a rolling boil here very, very soon. Here's my 72 pin connector. I'm going to use a timer on my phone for 5 minutes. You're going to need a game. Luckily, the person that sent me this particular NES gave us a game to use. And you're going to need a pair of tongs. The longer, the better, especially if you're going to go with the holding it way of doing this. So one of the ways you can do it is I'm going to go ahead and drop this in now and go ahead and start the timer. And you can let it sit for a couple seconds and then just keep turning it. That way the plastic does not melt. Like so. So every 30 seconds or so, you want to turn it to the next side. That way the plastic doesn't melt. I've had that issue before. So to prevent that, what I've been doing is I've just been holding the 72 pin connector in place like this. So it's not hitting the bottom, it's not hitting any of the sides, but it's still getting boiled nonetheless. So this is the way that I prefer doing it. So we're going to do that for the next 4 minutes and 20 seconds. All right, now that the 5 minutes are up, we want to go ahead and put this on a towel. It is very, very hot, but not for very long. So depending on your threshold of pain, you can let that sit, but I will recommend that the hotter, the better. Just try not to touch these pins right here. Those are the ones that are going to be by far the hottest part about this. So I'm just going to let this sit for a couple seconds here. And now that I have it, I can hold it without too much pain. I'm going to go ahead and take my game and put it into the cartridge slot like so. So we're going to do that once. It might help if you use like a little towel or something. So we're going to do that once, 2. I'm going to do it a total of 10 times. I think that's 5. All right. So by doing that, it should bend all these pins into perfect place. So before we put the system back together, I do want to take the time to clean all of these screws. As you can see, there's plastic and just kind of like this plastic dust all over them. Most of them do have this particular issue, so easily, I'm just going to take a toothbrush, some isopropyl alcohol, and I'll just clean this really dirty one with the big chunk of plastic there. But give it a nice clean, a nice brush at the top as well. And then you have a nice clean screw. So I am going to do this with all the screws before I begin to put everything back together. Alright, let's put the system back together. And I am going to start with the power and reset module here. So reset on this side, and then power on this side here. We're just going to work backwards, essentially. And I'm going to head and feed this wire all the way over here, like this. That should work. And next is we're going to put the port number 2 and port number 1 for the players. The longer one is player 2. The shorter one is going to be player 1. And then we'll grab this piece of plastic. Should sit pretty snug, like so. I'm going to hang on to it though, just so it doesn't go anywhere when I'm trying to screw this in. Alright, perfect. So now we have all these wires just kind of going around everywhere. It's okay though. There will be order here eventually. Let's grab the motherboard and the bottom shielding. So here's the motherboard and the middle shielding. Before we put that on, I am going to grab our 72 pin connector that we boiled, and I'm going to put it back into place. So real quick, you want to do the one with teeth on both sides. That's for the pin connector, since this has pins on both sides, so that'll go there. This one up here is for the cartridge, so make sure you orient it correctly. And then slide it in like this. Shouldn't be too hard. And with the metal shielding, I'm going to look for this slot here, this expansion slot. And the metal shielding is going to have a rectangle cut out that matches it perfectly. So that should work perfectly fine. The only thing I'm looking for is making sure that the holes on the metal shielding match what's on the motherboard. So that looks pretty good. With the metal shielding in place, I'm going to grab the power cable and plug it in. Should be this blue one. And next I will focus on the player 2 wire, and I'm going to plug it in right here. And then finally, player 1. Now the one thing I'm going to worry about is the wires. As I'm laying this back into place, I want to make sure the wires are completely out of the way from these pillars. You don't want these wires getting pinched or screwed into in any way, shape, or form. Otherwise, you're going to have a bad time looking for new ones, buying them off eBay, or something of the sort. You just want to make sure all the wires are completely out of the way and away from any of the pillars. So I am going to do an inspection just to make sure there's no wires caught anywhere where there shouldn't be. Everything looks good here. Next, we're going to put the cartridge slot reader into place. Got to make sure it's nice and even there. We don't want it crooked. It looks pretty good to me right there. If you guys remember, I did mention that some of the screws were kind of mixed around, kind of out of place. So I went ahead and grabbed a set that would work for this particular cartridge reader. So basically it's going to be 4 golden screws around the cartridge reader, and then the 2 silver ones where they should go. Next we'll put on the metal shielding back into place. And we'll go ahead and start putting some screws here. This is the area that was missing a screw, I believe. So I got to figure out if I want to miss a screw inside of the system or on the outside of the system. So I'll think about it as I'm working through this. So I decided to go with all the screws here, and on the outside shell I'm probably just going to use 4 unless I can find another one. So let's go ahead and move this to the side and work on the top shell. Here is our yellowed top shell. I'm going to go ahead and put the door there, put this guy on top, and this guy as well. Flip this guy over. First thing I want to do is I'm going to grab these little guys here and then put them into place. That's why I got to use the little grabbers sometimes, because my hands are too big for these small spaces. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 6 screws if I remember correctly, and it's these little ones. So let's begin. All right, now that we have that done, we can complete it. Looks like the door is nice and tight. So let's go ahead and put this all together. Here's the completed bottom shell and the completed top shell. I'm just going to place it on top. Shouldn't be any force of any sort. And I have 5 screws left. So I'm just going to do the corners first. So I do have 1 screw left to go into either one of these. Unfortunately, I probably will have to harvest one from an NES somewhere if I can, or I can just order the same size screws online. But since I don't have those, we won't worry about it for this particular video. But I'm hoping by the end of the series for this NES, we'll have a complete NES for sure. Last order of business, let's put this piece of plastic back on. I give this one little wipe down here. Yeah, these little rubber pads, these are completely gone. These are okay, they actually look really good, but these are just gone. They're out of there. But yeah, this is the NES. My preference being one of these that have like a textured surface as opposed to the smooth one. So I'm pretty excited. Let's go ahead and test this to see if it'll read any games and see if we were able to repair it. It looks like we have a working NES, and I'm super happy about it. The 72-pin connector boiling method strikes again. It's absolutely incredible how many systems I've been able to fix simply by boiling that 72-pin connector. So hopefully it works for you guys as well. Magneteco Lab is the technical side of the Magneteco ecosystem. This is where we take the software and the hardware and we clean it up, repair it, and also mod it for future use. The coolest thing is that these exact games and systems are the ones that I use to play on my Magneteco Play channel and on Twitch. So if you guys have time, please consider checking both of those out and hitting a follow for me. But other than that, thank you guys so much for coming by and watching this NES cleanup and repair video. In the comments below, please tell me what you guys thought, but more importantly, tell me a memory about the NES that you guys have. All right, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll catch you guys next time. Bye-bye.